Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Friends, Facts, and Fiction. As always, this podcast is made possible by our local convenience stores, the misappropriation of history, and you. And now to your hosts, Justin Hammonds, Brant Bramlett, and Drew Shellnut.
What's up? What's happening, world? This is a podcast called Friends, Facts, and Fiction. And we back. Season 6, More Shit in the Mix, episode 8. About a crazy guy who shot a guy.
Uh-oh. Not
Crazy
the crazy
guy who
guys
shot a
who
guy.
shoot
I'm going to
guys.
leave it there and let y'all figure that out later. But, yeah, I'm back. I'm Justin Hammonds, looking at my boy Drew Shellnut.
Yes, you are.
And my boy Grant Bramlett.
Hello.
And today we have our engineer in the building again. Julie Francis in the building.
Hi.
Yeah, out here thugging. Yeah, man. So we back as kind of scheduled ish.
Kind of scheduled this.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we're back. We're on track-ish now. with the
I
schedule
mean,
release.
maybe that should have been the name of the season. Like
on back to track-ish.
season 6. Yeah, we're here sometimes.
we're around. You know what I mean?
It kind of rhymes.
You gotta
it's
gotta believe in things you can't see sometimes. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
more prose, but
I'm just happy we're in the studio. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Good vibes, man. Good
I am
vibes.
for sure happy to be here among the three of you in person. As opposed, I mean, I'm still going to hit the other part of it, but normally it's just through email, as we were discussing before.
Yes, before the episode, she wants to be more involved. And
I just want to hang out with
yeah.
my people.
That's
you
fine.
know, y'all are my
That's
people.
fine.
I feel it.
You're always welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But next time we're just
Cool.
going to put you in a booth with glass so we can at least get that vibe. You know?
Like a fucking zoo animal. That's
like
what
that-
that's what I am to
it's-
Drew.
like a-
Just watch. I mean, okay, if I
you're
get
the
a
one in the
cut of the
control
money,
booth.
No, the control
that's fine.
booth.
Like,
you know?
oh,
Yeah, the
okay.
control booth. I didn't mean like zoo animal. I mean, I may walk up to the glass and like, oh, want a banana?
Oh my.
I mean, everybody needs their potassium. I'll take it.
It's, you know, the live fact checking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get a little like effect where it's like, shh. Yeah, that was wrong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, it's not about being wrong, Justin. You know, it's about being right.
Wow.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what's.
Hot
first or
facts, baby.
last.
Hot facts. Yeah,
It's about being right.
yeah. You know, even when I was wrong, I could have been right in the first place. So think about that.
It's just
You know what I mean?
presentation.
Listen, three wrongs can make a right if you really wanted to.
I mean,
It's
three
lefts.
rights make a left.
Wait, is that what it was? Hang on, wait. You're right. God damn it. I mean, you can see how I could get confused.
Oh God. My Lord. Anyway, so glad everybody's doing good. Yeah,
driving.
everybody good. Everybody's great.
Yeah, not bad.
Cool.
Pretty
cool.
good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
I did have the wonderful feeling of being wet, like all day.
Okay, what?
Extrapolate?
Excuse me?
Okay, fine.
What?
Pressure washing offense. It was.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Oh.
That,
Just,
that
yeah.
was an open-ended.
That's
I thought
it's less
situation
fun.
there.
I thought my
Sure.
jacket
Go on.
was like rain style jacket. It wasn't.
Oh.
Yeah, so halfway through, I'm like, oh, cool. My entire right side of my body is soaked. you know?
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where my boots are waterproof, which I did confirm that today. But the left pant leg kind of got tucked underneath the tongue of my boot without me realizing it. So now the entire right side of my body is wet and actively running water just directly into my boot. And so it was just like clomp squish
Yeah.
for a few hours.
You have to get the wrinkly toe situation?
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah.
Living that prune life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing in kitchens, man.
Smelling like feet.
If we ever feel my socks getting wet, I know it's time to go home because they're mopping the floor.
Yeah.
It's always a kitchen thing. It's like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
socks wet. We're getting out of here.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
it's time
saying?
to go.
Like, it's time to leave, bro.
Or it's the you know, existential like, should I really be working here anymore?
True.
Is
Is
always
this
in the back
good
of the
for
head.
me?
Like, yeah, I'm looking at my wrist. We'll say 10 years past this job right
Yeah.
now.
I'm not supposed to be here.
No.
No, and I don't mean like looking down on it. Just Jesus, but looking down,
Yeah, it's a
they
lifestyle.
haven't started mopping yet. And, yeah,
And I want to leave right now.
yeah.
Yeah. Also,
bet.
in the graph community, stay wet player is a thing. So that means you're always tagging, or
Right,
you're always
right,
like doing something dope. You know,
You got
always,
wet paint on
always
your
spin some
fingies.
lyrics. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Stay
yeah.
wet players.
Is the graph
Hip-hop
community
graph.
people who engage in graffiti?
Yes.
Okay.
script.
Vigilante art.
Well, technically,
Do you
they're
know-
The art heroes of the
art
world.
Do you
heroes.
know Oprah? I feel like that's gotten a lot more popular
Do I know Oprah?
in
Oh,
local
the
graffiti
tagger.
artists.
Oh,
Yeah,
got it.
tagger.
No,
Okay.
I
I
do
thought
not.
it was
Yeah,
I do not.
a little bit of racist.
Shout out to my homie Cons. He's out here still killing shit.
Yeah, he is. That's true.
Yeah, my boy.
I was just curious if you knew because I've seen a lot of Oprah tags recently.
Yeah.
So.
he's been
Do you
out
know
here.
Creepy Julie?
They took Moist down off of the fucking pillar,
I know.
which is fucked up because Moist was out here hard for a
Yeah,
minute.
for a long time.
Yeah.
It's all the way into. I thought it was tagged all the way to like Birmingham,
It is.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
it was.
and
Yeah.
it's actually it's in Tuscaloosa too on a couple like if you're on
Yeah.
the bridge.
He's out here, bro.
I figured that was just, like minds coming together. Like that's just a good one. Like if you had between Krusty and Moist, I'm gonna go Moist.
Like when
every
Grant
time.
said that he was wet all day, and we were like, "What?"
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be hydrated. Inside
Stay
and
wet,
out.
player. Stay wet,
Stay
player.
wet.
I hope everybody out there listening is staying wet out here now. You know what I'm saying? Stay wet, player.
Listen to these sultry voices. and,
stay wet.
You never know.
Arr. Rawr. Rawr. Okay, well, we got there.
So we've turned
there.
into late night with Susan Johansson.
Yeah. Everybody just stay wet.
Oh, I forgot about that chick.
Just
Wow.
watch this, 80-year-old lady play with a dildo for 30 minutes.
That's crazy.
I feel like I missed something.
Dude, I will never ever.
We're
get-
we're aging ourselves with that.
We are
one,
aging
Drew.
ourselves.
Yeah.
I will never get the image of the chindo, like her with the chindo,
Uh-huh.
out of my head. That's forever burned. Like,
The first time I ever saw that television show on, I walked in and I was way past my curfew. And my stepdad is sitting in the living room with all the lights off,
watching that.
passed the fuck out.
Oh, okay.
And he's just
It
like,
just came
he's
on.
sitting there. I don't know. I don't know. I think it had been on like, once it hits a certain time, it's on for like 4 hours.
Right,
It just
right.
repeats,
Yeah.
know, and just like, and he's just like
Back in the
sitting
day.
there in his jams, just like smile on his face, like half asleep. I walk in and I'm like, ah! What? And he like wakes up and he's like, oh, and grabs the remote really quick. And I'm like, yeah.
So what you been up to,
Susan
player?
Johansson.
It was something different. I fell asleep. It was something different before.
Late night sex talk with Susan Johansson.
That's back when like Real Sex was cracking up
Yep.
on HBO. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I remember those.
Yeah.
There's another one that's forever burned in my brain. It says,
Jesus.
it's an adult party clown, if you will.
Oh yeah, I do remember that one.
There was one clown in particular that had a particular set of skills.
Yes, he
in
did.
which he could fire all the way across the room.
Oh.
Yeah,
Like almost like 12 feet.
it was impressive.
And hit like targets and shit. As
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Guinness World Record.
Let you run with that one. Anyway,
right.
yeah. So stay wet, player.
Yeah, stay wet.
So what? Let's hop off the warm up.
Right.
I
That
guess
was a
we're
hell
all
of an
ready now. We're all ready.
Are we all lubricated?
Christ.
Moist, ready to go,
Man,
hydrated?
that took a left turn.
Yes,
anyway,
it did.
Yeah, so
You
we're
never
back
know.
with these hot facts. You know what I'm saying? You know the drill.
Oh, you want to
know
hop
what I mean?
on that? Sweet. So
Are you hopping on that?
that's cool.
What are you going to say?
I've got another bit of
you got some more info?
If
Oh,
you
go
want.
ahead, man,
Yeah,
go
okay, cool. So, verbal round of hands. Who picks their nose fairly regularly?
Oh, yeah.
I do.
Are
Absolutely.
you talking about the Alzheimer thing?
Have you seen that? Heard about that? You seen
Yeah.
this? You heard about this?
Seen about this, heard about this. You've got Alzheimer's and you've got
I've heard about this.
So I actually did kind of look a little closer into it. I'm just going to be skimming like a sciencealert.com just because it's so much more consumable. But I did go and actually look at some scientific studies, and it's real. This is not like total clickbait. They
So,
need to figure a lot more shit out before they
Picking
can
your
be.
nose with dirty fingernails can cause Alzheimer's.
Yeah. So apparently it's like an insanely high number of like current Alzheimer's patients that they have asked this question if they pick their nose. Like it's like 92% of Alzheimer's patients have picked their nose. One of the leading causes of Alzheimer's is like inflammation in certain areas of your brain. Certain bacteria and viruses cause inflammation. Sometimes they lay dormant for years and years and then they start doing their thing. Other situations it like slowly causes inflammation over a really, really long period of time. And it seems to be a lot of situations where if something gets through the really thin skin of your nasal cavity and makes it up to your brain, it just kind of stays up there. Like you don't really There's no
Oh, neat.
there's no ways to clear out your brain. You can clear out your sinus cavities and your chest and all that kind of stuff, but nothing really actively gets up into your brain and back out. You know what I mean? Like obviously blood, but it's not going to do all that much for that. Yeah.
So
Cool.
So my question is, what's the control testing? Because as far as I know, literally everybody picks their nose.
Well, see, that's really where I'm at personally.
it's the bacteria that is found under fingernails in certain
certain
like
but it's
dirty
like,
ways or some shit.
if where Julie's going with this, which I totally agree with, if we did a poll of the current population, global population, I feel like we'd be close to 90% of people admitting to picking their nose.
I mean, bro, if you got something in there, get that shit out.
Picks
You feel
their
me?
nose. There's two types of people: people that admit they pick their nose, and then people that pick their nose and don't admit it. So I'm saying, like all the Alzheimer's patients. Of course, they all picked their nose. So of course, that maybe a few of them's like, no, I don't pick my nose with their fucking finger up their nose in that moment. Like they have Alzheimer's, they don't know.
So what they say is to wash your hands if you decide to pick your nose. You wash your hands, then pick your nose.
Wash your hands fucking anyway. Okay? Like
Yeah, bro, the pandemic pulled that out the back pocket. Like, y'all have me washing y'all fucking hands in the first place? What the fuck is happening, bro?
No, it got fucking worse after the pandemic. Okay?
That's true.
Like,
a lot of people were like, tell me what to do.
You know, it's just manners, okay? You wash your hands. Please wash your hands.
Drying up
health
their hands
codes,
with
that
alcohol.
fucking kind of thing.
Shit,
And then the pandemic happens. It's like, no fear. I'm not going to do that shit. I'm more powerful than germs. Have you not seen War of the Worlds? Oh my God.
Well, also, when the
Worlds,
person that
Jesus.
you're listening to as your quote unquote commander in chief is telling you to drink bleach,
Yeah.
what do you expect?
4 more years.
Oh my God. Oh my Lord. But
That's fucking expect.
I did. I have heard of that, but it's also one of those things. Was like it's impossible to dodge.
And I was thinking about that
in
too.
some cases, it's just like if it happens, it happens.
Yeah,
we're all rolling the dice anyway, right?
I heard it, and before I looked into it, I was like, God damn it! This is one more thing, one more of my little joys in life that you're going to take away from me.
I like
And
picking
I'm
my nose.
actively driving home from like doing a mulch job with Julie, so like my hands are dirty.
Yeah.
and I literally was like, I think there's some like old
thing in there.
mulch dust up in there.
Oh, there's
Let
some
me
gold
get
in
it,
there.
and I'm
Oh,
like
yeah.
going for it. I'm like, son of a bitch! I have to wait till I wash my hands when I get home. I'm going to pick my nose right now.
Well, also my question on it is, it's like you're picking your nose with dirty fingers. What constitutes as clean fingernails?
Wait. I mean, like, I feel like...
Aren't fingernails pretty much just always fucking dirty?
Yeah.
not
I mean, the
Oh, okay. Excuse us, princess.
It's
That's
it's
not
actually
reality.
it's actually a bit of there's a bit of poison
I'm
in
talking about-
fingernails. Actually,
I'm talking about like just
The nail itself?
dirty from
Yeah.
being a human fucking
like you scratch
being,
yourself
and
too
that
much,
being
you'll
like
get fucking like broken
your
out.
mouth is
Oh.
always dirty.
Irritating
Yeah.
skin.
I love how we just broke off into our own...
And
Now we're just chatting.
We're just hanging out. We're just hanging out, y'all.
And welcome in, guys, to the delicious dish.
Yeah. All right. So
Today we're
do with
speaking-
that research. Do with that research what you will.
Yeah.
With that. Yeah.
Wash your hands.
Wash your
goddammit.
hands. Just wash your hands.
And
Things
clean
will
under
be
your
better.
fucking fingernails. They're
That's
not
an
supposed
easy
to be
one.
dirty. Jesus Christ.
if you could
Get
see
your
dirt.
little mani pedi. It's fine.
You should. Really.
It's okay.
You really should.
All right.
I love mani pedis and back massage days. It's my favorite day of the week.
Spa day.
Yeah. Anyway, like I was saying, we'll get to these hot facts real quick. You know what I mean? Lock in. You know what I'm saying? Focus.
click,
Turn,
click.
turn it up just a little bit. Just one click up,
Beam, beam, beam.
so you can lock in. You know what I mean? Drive safe. Hope
Right.
that house is getting clean. Or maybe that bath is nice. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway,
Bath bombs.
these hot facts.
So the last time I hosted the podcast, we covered what happened to Abraham Lincoln's body after he was assassinated.
Yes.
But what about the man who assassinated him?
Oh boy. Oh.
John Wilkes Booth was born on May 10th of 1838 in Maryland to famed English Shakespearean actor and known drunk, Junius Brutus Booth.
Hell yeah.
Fuck,
Damn.
that's a name.
And
J.
his-
Willie Booth was J. Bruce Booth, boy. Damn.
And his mistress, Marianne Holmes. So we could say that he's a bastard. He was the ninth of 10 children. Booth was athletic and popular. He became skilled at horsemanship and fencing. He grew up on his father's farm that was maintained by slave labor. and thus cultivated a deep sense of bigotry and hatred towards slaves. And
I was picking that up. Yes.
Anybody in particular? Slaves.
He attended the Bel Air Academy and was an indifferent student whom the headmaster thought was, quote, not deficient in intelligence, but disciplined to take advantage of the educational opportunities. Disinclined to take advantage of the educational opportunities offered him. So just a little lazy shitbag.
Yeah.
Later, while attending the Milton boarding school, Booth met a Romani fortune teller who read his palm and pronounced a grim destiny, telling him that he would have a grand but short life, doomed to die young and meeting a bad end.
Oh, yeah. Tom Hanks
Okay.
starred as this person in Big. I remember that now.
That's the movie.
That's the movie.
Yeah,
that's the movie. Representation.
Oh,
Got it.
big.
So here's a quote from her. This is so great. You'll break hearts, but they'll mean nothing to you. You'll die young and leave many to mourn you. You'll make a bad end. Young sir, I've never seen a worse hand, and I wish I hadn't seen it. But if I were a girl, I would follow you through the world for your handsome face.
Bro, that sounds like me in my 20s.
So Booth's sister recalled that he wrote down the palm reader's prediction, showed it to his family and others, and often discussed it in his moments of melancholy. He left school at 14 after his dad died. By age 16, Booth was interested in the theater and in politics. He became a delegate from the Bel Air Academy to a rally by the Know Nothing Party for Henry Winter Davis, which was the anti-immigrant party's candidate for Congress in the 1854 election.
Oh, wow.
So think, I don't know, Tea Party, as far as modern.
Henny D, huh?
Booth aspired to follow in the footsteps of his father and his actor brothers Edwin and Junius Brutus Jr. He began practicing elocution daily in the woods around Tudor Hall and studying Shakespeare. His sister reported that Booth wanted more out of life, often yelling, "I must have fame! Fame!"
Stella. Stella.
So this is a spoiled kid that wants the world but does nothing.
Yes,
Basically.
100%.
Good. LA is filled with that.
Yeah,
Doesn't sound like a very modern generation at all.
it doesn't. This is
Weird.
kind of hard
Nashville's
for us
filled
to
with that.
imagine.
Yeah,
it is hard for us to imagine.
We see it every day. Anyway.
He joined an acting troupe in Richmond, Virginia to try and be a famous actor like his father. He seemed to shine most in roles of Shakespeare's plays, as the villain and as a protagonist. Some critics often called Booth the handsomest man in America and a natural genius, and noted his having an astonishing memory.
So they're just stroking this dude's ego like crazy.
Others were mixed in their estimation of his acting. But this man stood 5 feet, 8 inches tall, had jet black hair, and was lean and athletic. Noted Civil War reporter George Alfred Townsend, who I think had a pretty big crush on him, described him as a muscular, perfect man with curling hair like a Corinthian capital.
Wow.
Yeah, he definitely
Bro.
he definitely has some feelings.
He was just being accurate with his words.
He still was a private time with his words. It sounds like to me. Shit. When you close your eyes, what do you see?
How
Look at
doth
us.
you do private times with your words about me?
Now, Booth's stage performances were often characterized by his contemporaries as acrobatic and intensely physical, with him leaping upon the stage and gesturing with passion. He's said to be an excellent swordsman, although a fellow actor once recalled that Booth occasionally cut himself with his own sword.
I thought he practiced fencing. What the fuck?
I thought he did too.
Oh, clumsy.
As the 1850s drew to a close, Booth was becoming wealthy as an actor, earning about $20,000 a year, which is
Damn.
about
That's
$700,000
fucking
a
wild.
year.
Oh my God.
1850s, 20K? Damn.
Yeah.
You can buy a city with that shit.
Booth was also strongly opposed to the abolitionists. He even attended the hanging of abolitionist leader John Brown on December 2nd, 1859. John Brown was executed for treason, murder, and inciting a slave insurrection, charges resulting from his raid on the federal armory at Harper's Ferry, Virginia, which is a badass story. That guy was cool as hell.
Cray.
Booth had been rehearsing at the Richmond Theater when he read in the newspaper about Brown's upcoming execution. So to gain access that the public didn't have, he borrowed a uniform of a volunteer militia guarding against a possible attempt to rescue Brown. When Brown was hanged for that incident, Booth stood near the scaffolds and afterwards expressed great satisfaction with Brown's fate.
So, an asshole as well.
Yeah.
He's got the trifecta, bro. Spoiled, lazy, and an asshole.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. That's great.
Yeah.
Love that.
Abraham Lincoln was elected president on November 6, 1860. In the following month, Booth drafted a long speech that decried Northern abolitionism and made clear his strong support of the South and the institution of slavery. As the 1864 presidential election drew near, the Confederacy's prospects for victory were ebbing when the war increasingly favored the North. The likelihood of Lincoln's re-election filled Booth with rage towards the president, whom Booth blamed for the war and all of the South's troubles. Sound familiar, by the way?
Yeah, sounds hella familiar.
Thanks, Obama.
Hella familiar, my boy. So I was just thinking, spoiled, lazy, and an asshole. one of those is a leading presidential candidate. Anyway.
Booth had promised his mother at the outbreak of the war that he would not enlist as a soldier, but he increasingly became agitated at not fighting for the South. Writing in a letter to her, I have begun to deem myself a coward and to despise my own existence.
Oh my God.
So dramatic.
Yeah.
Damsel in distress over here.
I
Jesus
love
Christ.
that.
Then fucking do
so
something.
much.
Yeah.
I mean, hey.
Please go walk in the front of a line at people who were just standing there shooting at you.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he decided to do something. In October, Booth made an unexplained trip to Montreal, which was a center of clandestine Confederate activity. He spent 10 days in this city, staying for a time at St. Lawrence Hall, which is a rendezvous for the Confederate Secret Service, and meeting several Confederate agents there.
I did not know that Montreal had a little Confederate base.
I remember seeing that in National Treasure. I think it was the second one. I think that, yes. 100%.
Oh, man.
One of Justin's favorite
damn
films.
right.
Yeah.
Wow, you're
Remember
right.
that?
Holy shit. Yeah.
Of course, it was the Disney National Treasure, the sequel version, but
It was a soft little
there was
push.
that little meeting. Yeah, little meeting there.
Actually,
Yep.
they did a series, National Treasure, that was fucking popping, actually, recently.
I heard it was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
need to check
love
that out.
I love that franchise. Nick Cage is like one of my heroes. Anyway.
Nick Cage for life.
We
baby.
all know.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're going to pick a hero, I mean, good job.
Yeah.
He's a good
Nick
one.
Cage is badass.
He's going.
Anyway.
So, no conclusive proof has linked Booth's kidnapping or assassination plots to a conspiracy involving the leadership of the Confederate government. But historian David Herbert Donald states that at least at the lower levels of the Southern Secret Service, the abduction of the Union president was under consideration.
Interesting.
Historian Thomas Goodrich concludes that Booth entered the Confederate Secret Service as a spy and courier. Lincoln won a landslide re-election in early November of 1864
Oh, yeah, he did.
on a platform that advocated abolishing slavery altogether by constitutional amendment.
I wonder when he had time to kill the vampires.
I don't know.
It was this, I think it was like right after his boxing career, right before his political career.
I got you. Yeah, that's what it was framed.
Because he was coming up all
Because he was all jacked.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Great
Definitely
documentary.
juicing for sure back then.
It was a great documentary that came out about that.
What would 1850s steroids look like?
Bro.
Oh, man.
They're probably just
It's
drinking
like,
it.
no,
I'd
it's like
imagine.
you know
Yeah.
that's like a straight adrenal glands from like bears.
That's what I was
Like
thinking,
that.
yeah.
Like, oh.
Yeah, it'd be like bare adrenal gland and milk or something crazy.
Condensed milk.
Yeah.
I mean, you can buy morphine at like the pharmacy, so I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
Cocaine. Exactly. Cocaine in a bottle. What's up? Save the children.
So, meanwhile,
Hell yeah.
Vampires be slain.
so while Lincoln's juicing up and killing all these fucking vampires, Booth is devoting increased energy and money to his kidnapping plot. So basically, if you guys want to think about this, it's like Brad Pitt plotting to kidnap or kill Obama.
Yeah.
Just to kind of give you perspective.
I can see- I
it's
can
like
see that.
the most handsome, famous American stage actor going after one of the better presidents that we've had, who was insanely popular at the time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
nuts.
of course, the South hated him, but
Yeah.
Well, the South hates a lot of things.
sure.
Moving on.
Yes, let's.
Yes, Les.
I'm going to jump to a seemingly random person named Tom Corbett.
Oh, Tommy C.
He was born in 1832 in London. When he was 7, the family moved to Troy, New York. Tom started working as a milliner or a hatter. So Corbett was regularly exposed to the fumes of mercury 2 nitrate, then used in the treatment of fur to produce felt, used on these old school cool hats everyone wore.
Of course.
If I haven't mentioned it in another episode, I'm sure I have because I just find this fascinating. But in this time period, the only reason for being in public without a hat is your house is actively on fire or you just got mugged. Like strangers would ask if you're okay if you're in public without a head covering. I mean, seriously. Like people would come up to you and be like, what happened? Are you okay?
Yeah.
You know?
Your bald spot's showing, Jerry.
Dude,
bro.
everybody wore those
Think about
old
that.
felt hats.
Oh,
everybody.
Man. Establishing a hat company back then, they still got money right now.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
Still got
seriously.
money. Hella bread.
There was I might actually cover this one day, but I think it was like the Hat Riot or some shit like that. I want to say it was in Charleston, right around the time that the Labor Day rule was like a really big deal. So like you don't wear white after Labor Day. So they did the same thing with straw hats. So apparently you're not allowed to wear straw hats like in the winter or in the colder months. So some people could only afford straw hats, and people started taking them off of their heads and stomping on them. And then, of course, they would throw fucking bows at this guy because that's the only hat he's got. Damn it.
Exactly.
You know?
And you got to have a hat.
Turned into a whole thing. There was a whole group of people that were adamantly wearing straw hats, and a whole group of people like attacking them for wearing straw hats because it's the wrong time of year to wear straw hats. People were fucking crazy.
Well,
I mean, I feel like it sounds really important to me. I mean, they were definitely worried about all the right things.
the only entertainment they had was radio. So I mean,
Yeah,
that's imagination goes far. You know.
they were just bored, I guess.
Yeah,
It's
hella
time to
bored. It's
start
like,
a
you
hat
know what?
fight.
Today,
Hat fight.
we're going to scrap about some hats. My guy. It's the day after Labor Day. If I see a motherfucker in white, it's going down. This bitch.
Your ass.
Let's
gonna
fucking
be
go, bro.
raw.
Yeah, bro. What we doing, dog? It's December out here. You strawed up?
I mean, it's fucking like
Fuck
Strawed up.
up with you, bro.
Like-
I strawed up in December.
St. Patty's Day. You know, it's just like in modern times, it's just a day for everybody to get fucking
Fucked
drunk.
up, yeah.
It's like that has not been the case for all time.
Yeah.
Like it's like, are you wearing green? Okay, cool. You wearing orange?
Yeah, it's a lot more than a
I'm
pinch.
just saying it's
I do
serious.
remember a lot of little kid fights happening when I was in elementary school, though, because of the like, I'll pinch you if you're not wearing green.
Green?
thing.
Oh, yeah.
That was big for us too.
And
It's
like,
huge. For kids' imagination as well.
and we're like, fucking poor as shit. And like, mom's like, here's your, shirt. You just wear it today and then go to school. And I'm like, motherfucker, I need to go like roll around in the grass or something because I'm about to punch a bitch in the mouth that pinched me again. Like, what the fuck, man? I don't own green.
Yeah. It's always good to have like a green Mardi Gras bead somewhere and just rock that and say, fuck it. That's my green.
I think that may be the reason why I took a liking to the
Celtics?
Celtics. It's because I was like, bitches.
pinch me
That's
now,
hilarious.
bitch.
Right?
That's funny.
Oh, my God.
But anyways, that meant that hat makers were like constantly exposed to mercury 2 nitrate because they're pumping out hats like a motherfucker. But after a while, it can cause hallucinations, psychosis, dementia, and twitching.
I want to get one of them hats.
Damn, son.
The twitches
It's
were
built in,
known,
dog.
the twitches were known as hatter shakes,
Mad
or
Hatters, my boy.
the phrase "mad as a hatter."
Hey.
That's my guy.
But at the time, Tom worked as a milliner. It was considered a good and honorable job. They hadn't put 2 and 2 together just yet. You know what I mean?
That you're basically dosing people up
Yeah,
with every
yeah,
hat
yeah.
they're rocking?
Yeah.
kinda
Well,
like
once it dries, the felt hat is safe to wear. You know what I mean? But the people that are actively turning
Yeah.
fur into felt
That it's
with
getting into their
mercury,
bloodstream.
Yeah, they're touching it while it's liquid.
Bro, I just watched
fucking
a
them up.
fucking show on Hulu about a clothing company that was using some type of dye that killed people. It was like a fictional show, whatever. But it's called Death and Other Details.
Oh yeah.
Bro,
I've seen that. I haven't
Whoa.
watched it. I've seen it.
The
on
twisty
feed.
turns and that motherfucker's crazy. But this is based on like this company that was using this certain dye in like the 80s that like killed people. and they tried to cover that up by
cool.
just like throwing them money.
Kind of like the ladies that were painting glow in the dark stuff on like watches and stuff. Their jaws were falling out and
Yeah, bro.
they were dying of cancer all over the place.
Tritium or whatever, like the radioactive stuff.
Yeah, the radioactive shit. Yeah. They had this one lady that, well, it's completely same arena, but a different level. She did a lot of radioactive like science and shit.
Radium girls. Sorry, go ahead.
And like,
Are you talking about Marie Curie?
I think so.
Where
Locked.
she had to be married, married, buried with all of her belongings.
All the belongings,
Yeah.
they locked it up, and it can't be
Yeah.
open
'Cause
for
it's
like
radioactive.
150 years or some shit. If they do open it, because
Yeah.
it's so radioactive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like her and all her shit in her house
Yeah.
was like so radioactive.
Yeah.
That it had to be locked for like 150 years
They
underground.
saved some of her like journals. That she
for
was
the
doing
research and shit,
and
exactly.
stuff, but they had it locked in like a lead box.
Yeah. Yeah, she's the mom of radioactivity and what we know about radiation
She
and all that.
basically risked her life to know how dangerous it is, basically.
And was smart as hell.
She was.
Anyway, shouts out to her, man.
Shut up.
So Tom, he then got married, got his wife pregnant. Life is looking pretty good. Coming up old Millhouse over here. Story over. Nah, his wife died during childbirth. Tom,
Still on Tommy C, right?
Tom, understandably, in my opinion, lost his shit. He started drinking heavily, lost his job, found himself without a house, and somehow in the streets of Boston.
Oh, go Celtics.
Made it from New York to Boston.
Full circle here.
Nobody knows.
Didn't know how he got from New York to Boston.
Nobody.
Well,
Back then, that's not an easy journey.
I will say most people, if you've listened to the music of the region, don't know how they got there either. So there's that.
Facts.
How did I get here?
So the ever drunk Tom with black hair, black eyes, and hatter shakes was a man about town. One night in the 1850s, Tom stumbled upon something interesting on a street corner that mesmerized him.
Oh, that's good. That's good writing right there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I reread this to edit it down. I made myself laugh out loud to the point where Grace is looking at me like I'm a crazy person. I was like,
Good.
she's like, "Aren't you editing the episode you wrote?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty funny over here."
Something interesting
cracking yourself
on a
up.
street corner that mesmerized him. Boy. Atlantic City, what's up?
It was known as a sidewalk church. He was hooked and always attended, screaming, "Glory to God," and "Come to Christ." But to the point where it annoyed the street ministers. They eventually talked him into posting up on his own corner. That's right. This man is too crazy for the other end is nigh sandwich board dudes.
Wow.
Look, man, I think there's another word past zealot, and you have achieved this goal. You need to go over there.
Could you imagine
Being crazier than a soapbox preacher is wild.
That's crazy, right?
That's wild, my boy.
So at the ripe old age of 26, by the way,
lived
this
a
man
life.
has lived a life.
Yeah,
Lived
yeah.
a life, bro.
He took up his own quote-unquote ministry and was a changed man. He swore off drinking, grew out his beard and hair like Jesus, and was baptized. Tom, from then on, was known as Boston Corbett.
Oh, Boss DC.
He also became... He also became known as the Glory to God man by the local church congregations that he would regularly visit. Because of his, shall we say, zealous behavior, because he would just pop into random church and just start screaming glory to God in the back until
They're
they
like,
would
yeah,
basically kick his ass out.
They're like, that's why we're here, asshole.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm trying to do a sermon here.
Yeah, actually,
Glory to God!
Actually,
No, we really need to get this done. It's like a time frame. We've got another sermon after this.
Glory to God.
Jesus Christ.
Now, one day he's posted up on
Exactly.
his favorite corner, and two ladies of the evening approached him. This caused a strange sensation in his pants.
Oh, wow.
Boston found this feeling to be improper for a man of God, so he went home and castrated himself with a pair of scissors.
Oh, my
Pair
God.
of scissors, bro? Jeez.
No, two whores of Babylon, I shall castrate myself
My
for getting
Lord.
a winky. Oh my god.
That made my blood run cold for a second. Fuck.
Oh, scissors. And that brings back bad
Scissors
memories.
too. Damn.
Also, to all the listeners out there, especially if you're like just starting out doing some manscaping or whatever you got going on down
They
there.
got special razors for that.
They've got
scissors.
stuff, not scissors, that will not make you fall out and make your mom not believe your story for skipping school.
I have so many complicated
yeah.
feelings. Go on.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, when he was done, old empty purse Corbett strolled down to a prayer meeting.
Leather satchel.
Then he had a nice dinner, followed by a long walk through the city.
Yeah, sad sack.
Then he decided to check himself into a hospital.
Yeah, he's just like bleeding out, basically.
I think things are not normal. I haven't.
Yeah, bro. I've lost a lot of blood. What the fuck is happening? That's crazy.
Later, he would say that he was divinely instructed to spread the good word of the Lord without the primal desires of animalistic passions.
You mean naturally attracted to somebody you're attracted to? It's fucking ridiculous.
I know.
Anyway.
He took weeks to heal from his incision decision.
Hey,
Wow.
Thank you.
My guy got deep in his bag with the writing on this.
he
One.
did.
In April of 1861, early in the American Civil War, Corbett enlisted as a private in Company I of the Union Army's 12th New York State Militia.
Or lack thereof.
Corbett's eccentric behavior quickly got him into trouble. He carried a Bible with him at all times and read passages aloud from it regularly, held unauthorized prayer meetings, and argued with his superior officers. He was known for breaking out into praise songs randomly and constantly.
Guy, just read the room. You know, just
Our God is an awesome God.
like no. This is one guy singing with you.
Private Corbett.
No, I think it'd be one of those old school ones. So it's just like, all right, gentlemen, line up and left. And he's like, praise me. Or what would it be? Like, glory, glory, hallelujah.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
And they're just like, hey,
We're not
wrong
doing
one.
that right now. God
yeah.
damn
Not
it, get
doing
in
that,
line.
buddy. Yeah.
Doesn't even go with the cadence. I'm like, come on.
Not what we're doing.
Bro, it ain't even Sunday, dog. Chill.
Yeah. Corbett also condemned.
Glory.
Corbett also condemned officers and superiors for what he perceived as violations of God's word. In one instance, he verbally reprimanded Colonel David Butterfield for using profanity and taking the Lord's name in vain.
My boy Danny B.
He was sent to the guardhouse for several days, but refused to apologize for his insubordination. Due to his continued disruptive behavior and refusal to take orders, Corbett was court-martialed and sentenced to be shot.
Oh,
Damn.
Yeah,
I feel like that's harsh. Okay, I feel like
I
that's
mean-
really harsh. I'm not a fan, but good God, just
Think
shoot the guy.
about how insanely annoying you have to be as a religious person in 1850s.
right. Yeah.
In the military. They're like, this guy's too about God.
Yeah.
To the point where it's just, I don't know, just fucking take him out back and shoot him, man.
Yeah, like,
I don't
hey,
know.
just
I mean, you know.
I saw a pack of wild dogs back there. They look hungry. You know, like
I'm just imagining like the charges like during the court martial, especially to like somebody who doesn't know what it is. Like he's been sentenced to, to be shot. Like, but for what? Like, what do they say as far as like those charges? Like, too much.
I think it's because he was like actively yelling at colonels for taking the Lord's name in vain. I don't. Anyway, his sentence was eventually reduced, and he was discharged in August of 1863. Corbett re-enlisted later that month as a private in Company L, 16th New York Cavalry Regiment. On June 24th, 1864, he was captured by Confederate States Army troops led by John S. Mosby in Culpeper, Virginia, and held as a prisoner of war at Andersonville Prison for 5 months. While on the way to Andersonville, the following incident happened. This is told by a fellow prisoner of Corbett's named William Collins.
Oh, Billy Collins.
oh, Billy C.
Oh, Billy
Oh,
C.
Billy C. had to say. At Macon, there were about 1,000 prisoners who had arrived ahead of us. The train we were on unloaded our 1,000, making 2,000 in all. We were taken to an old pasture or common near the railroad tracks where a furrow was plowed around it for a deadline. There was a small stream of water close to the guard line, and the prisoners made a rush for it. Most of them had no water for many hours, but the guards kept them back. One of the more venturesome than the rest got through the line and attempted to fill his canteen. He was immediately shot in the arm with buckshot by one of the guards.
Jesus.
He was pushed back among our men and laid under a tree. The wounded man was suffering greatly and called for water to ease his pain, but none had any in their canteen. Boston Corbett stepped out of the ranks. Having been unable to stand silent any longer, he crossed the deadline, filled his canteen in the stream, and gave the wounded man a drink. The guards continually threatened him with death, but Corbett ignored them and went about his business. Despite their threats, he returned unharmed and rejoined the ranks of prisoners. The cheers of the soldiers at this brave deed could have been heard 1 mile away, but Corbett seemed to think it was not out of the ordinary. It was the bravest deed that I had seen during the war. We arrived at Andersonville prison the next day.
My guy had a little heart.
And although exceedingly crazy and annoying, had balls.
Yeah, solid motherfucker. Didn't have a dick though.
Well, I assumed, that like it was no balls preserved.
But dick,
but preserved the dick.
Yeah, he got the dick. He just didn't have the balls.
Yeah. I was just clearing that up for Justin up there.
Yeah.
Corbett was released in a prisoner exchange in November of 1864 and was admitted to a military hospital in Annapolis, Maryland, where he was treated for scurvy, malnutrition, and exposure. Upon Corbett's return to his company, he was promoted to the rank of sergeant.
Look at that.
So instead of being shot,
He got away from the private.
That's wild.
Yeah.
meanwhile, on April 11th, 1865, John Wilkes Booth was in the crowd outside of the White House when Lincoln gave an impromptu speech from his window of the White House. It's actually a pretty famous speech. During the speech, Lincoln stated that he was in favor of granting suffrage to former slaves. Infuriated, Booth vowed to kill him and declared that it would be the last speech that Lincoln would ever make. On the morning of Good Friday, April 14th, 1865, Booth went to the Ford's Theater to get his mail. While there, he was told by John Ford's brother that the President and Mrs. Lincoln would be attending the play that evening, accompanied by General and Mrs. Ulysses S. Grant. He immediately set about making plans for the assassination, which include making arrangements with livery stable owner James W. Pumphrey for a getaway horse and an escape route. Later that night at 8:45, Booth informed three men, Powell, Harold, and Azerodt, of his intention to kill Lincoln. He assigned Powell to assassinate the Secretary of State, William S. Seward, Azerodt to assassinate Vice President Andrew Johnson, and Harold would assist in their escape into Virginia. He was clearly trying to decapitate the Union government, but funny enough, in 1865, the next in line wasn't Secretary of State. It was the President pro tempore of the U.S. Senate. At the time, it was a man named Lafayette S. Foster.
Oh, Lafayette? That's my boy.
I didn't know you were such a historian, Jay.
Bro, Lafayette, bro. Yeah, Lafayette's that guy.
Yeah. And the possibility of assassinating Grant was foiled. Apparently, Grant's wife didn't like Lincoln's wife, so they went to visit relatives in New Jersey instead.
That's hilarious.
It really is well documented that, like, Grant would have been sitting basically directly next to Lincoln. So Booth would have shot both of them.
Yeah.
For sure. You know?
Yeah.
So
That's
18th
crazy.
president would not be Grant, which is interesting. But also that's an attestment to how fucking crazy Mary Lincoln Todd was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, bro. She was a handful.
She was
and a half.
pissing everybody off left and right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, Grant's wife was married to a drunk. Like, I'm sure she had a lot of patience, but not for her.
Yeah, for sure.
Booth had hoped that the assassinations would create enough chaos within the Union that the Confederate government could reorganize and continue the war. Booth had free access to all parts of Ford Theater as a famous and popular actor who had frequently performed there. And
I forgot that he was doing that shit.
Right.
I'm so caught up in him being such a bastard. I forgot he was a famous fucking actor.
Yeah, no, I mean, he could literally just walk freely backstage, catwalk,
Of course.
get up into the booths. Didn't matter. Or the boxes, I mean. So, I had to find my place.
But he renamed them booths. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he got up in there.
Right. So after spending time at the saloon during intermission, Booth entered Ford's Theater one last time at 10:10 p.m. In the theater, he slipped into Lincoln's box around 10:14 as the play progressed and shot the president in the back of the head with a .41 caliber Derringer pistol. Booth then jumped from the president's box onto the stage, where he raised his knife and shouted, "Sic semper tyrannis," which is Latin for "thus always to tyrants." Now, that's obviously attributed to Brutus at Caesar's assassination.
Mm-hmm.
Actors be actoring.
Yeah, they be doing that thing.
According to some accounts, Booth added, "I have done it. The South is avenged."
I have done it. The South is avenged. Wait. Also, I just broke my ankle.
Jumped out of a booth to the stage.
Can I get some help?
Help!
Yeah, on that note, Drew, some witnesses reported that Booth fractured or otherwise injured his leg when his spur snagged a decorative U.S. Treasury flag while leaping to the stage. Mm-hmm. But historian Michael W. Kaufman questioned this legend, writing that eyewitness accounts of Booth's hurried stage exit made it unlikely that his leg was broken then. Kaufman contends that Booth was injured later that night during his flight to escape when his horse tripped and fell on him, calling Booth's claim to the contrary an exaggeration to portray his own actions as heroic.
Okay, so
wild.
two things. One, adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
You break something, you may not know it for a little while.
Yeah, that's fair.
Number two, ha 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 ha, horse fell on you.
That's crazy.
So
It's a good point.
You know,
Yeah.
Two good points.
I was gonna say my boy Mikey K got a good eye. You know what I'm saying?
Is that the horse's name?
Michael Kaufman is the guy.
I know.
My boy Mikey K. Yeah.
But either way, he fled into the woods with his buddy David Harold. They made it to a stash of guns and supplies and managed to travel from Ford's Theater in D.C. to Garrett's Farm in Bowling Green, Virginia, roughly 80 miles away in about 10 days, which is pretty impressive. But the kicker to all this is that he had people on the inside along the way to bring provisions and the daily paper to him. Everyone, including Robert E. Lee, was pissed at Booth, condemning him for his actions. So he's stuck in the woods, being raked across the coals publicly, which is pretty much the opposite of what he wanted from this and out of his life entirely.
Yeah.
Like,
He thought he was gonna be a hero of the Confederacy and shit, and he's like, bro, what the fuck are you doing?
yeah.
Like, bro,
We lost. We're working this shit out politically now, and you just go ahead and kill the guy. Fuck off. You know?
you're fucking us even deeper into the hole there, my boy. Jesus.
But all I wanted was fame.
So he,
Jesus Christ.
yeah. He was like a living, breathing January 6th.
Yeah.
For that,
I'm
yeah.
thinking about bringing in like some Bowie right now.
And actually
Just in the background. Yeah.
Meanwhile, on April 24th, 1865, Corbett's regiment was sent to apprehend John Wilkes Booth.
My boy Tommy C back in the building.
He's coming back, baby.
Let's go.
Harold surrendered, but Booth refused and cried out, "I will not be taken alive." The barn was set on fire in an attempt to force him out into the open, but Booth remained inside. Corbett was positioned near a large crack in the barn wall. In an 1878 interview, Corbett claimed that he saw Booth aim his carbine, prompting him to shoot Booth with his Colt revolver, despite Secretary of War Edwin Stanton's orders that Booth be captured alive. The bullet struck Booth in the back of the head behind his left ear, passed through his neck, and out into the barn. A low scream of pain came from the assassin, and he pitched headlong onto the floor. Corbett and the other soldiers would note a sense of poetic or cosmic justice in that Lincoln and Booth were each shot around the same spot of the head. But as historian Mary Clemmer Ames summed it up, the balls entered the skull of each at nearly the same spot, but the trifling difference made an immeasurable difference in the sufferings of the two. Mr. Lincoln was unconscious of all pain, while his assassin suffered an exquisite agony as if he had been broken on a wheel.
Damn.
I'll pause here to let you guys laugh at the fact that it said balls.
I was thinking about a nickname for Mary Clemmer, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
I was just
for a
thinking
nickname.
about balls entered the
It's
skull.
the balls entered the skull.
Yeah.
I know.
So they skull fucked him. Understood. Okay.
Both.
Got it.
Both.
Got it.
But
Balls
much.
deep. Balls deep.
Yeah.
Understood.
Balls deep in there.
Booth died 3 hours after Corbett shot him. Conger initially thought Booth had shot himself. After realizing Booth had been shot by someone else, Conger and Lieutenant Doherty asked which officer had shot Booth. Corbett stepped forward and admitted he was the shooter. When asked why he violated orders, Corbett replied, "Providence directed me." He was immediately arrested and accompanied by Lieutenant Doherty to the the War Department in Washington, D.C., to be court-martialed yet again.
That's crazy.
When questioned by Secretary Edwin Stanton about Booth's capture and shooting, both Doherty and Corbett agreed that Corbett had in fact disobeyed orders not to shoot. However, Corbett maintained that he believed Booth had intended to shoot his way out of the barn and that he acted in self-defense. He told Stanton, "Booth would have killed me if I had not shot first. I think I did right." Corbett maintained that he did not intend to kill Booth, but merely wanted to inflict a disabling wound. But either his aim slipped or Booth moved at the moment Corbett pulled the trigger. Stanton paused and then stated, "The rebel is dead. The patriot lives. He has spared the country expense, continued excitement, and trouble. Discharge the patriot." Upon leaving the War Department, Corbett was greeted by a cheering crowd as he made his way to Matthew Brady's studio to have his official portrait taken. So apparently he goes from court-martial meeting to being freed and then immediately taken to have his portrait taken.
Celebrity status. I was like, bro, you
just,
good.
Like people just on his shoulder, he's just on their shoulders.
That's old school going viral, my boy.
Yeah.
He went viral real
Studio
quick.
where he recorded his first R&B record.
Straight to the stew, baby. We cooking in the stew over here.
Cooking in the Stew. That was the name of it. How did you know?
That was a joint?
Yeah.
Right, cooking in the stew.
Cooking it up.
Yeah.
The crowd followed him, asking for autographs and requesting that he tell them about shooting Booth. So Corbett told the crowd, "I aimed at his body. I did not want to kill him. I think he stooped to pick something up just as I fired. That may probably account for his receiving the ball in the head.
Ball in the head, boy.
When the assassin lay at my feet, a wounded man, and I saw the bullet had taken effect about an inch back of the ear, and I remembered that Mr. Lincoln was wounded about the same spot of the head. I said, 'What a God we have. God avenged Abraham Lincoln.'"
Wow.
So
This
what I
guy's
heard
still full of it.
was like his excuse was, and be it as it may, but no, he just bent over. I didn't shoot him in the back of the head. He's bending over to tie his shoe, and I told him I done warned him already.
I was going for the leg, really.
And then I shot him, and I thought, well, Lord have mercy, Jesus and all the pretty angels done talked to me in my brain stuff, and that was the same exit wound that Lincoln had.
So you didn't intend to shoot the person?
No, of course
No,
I
you
didn't.
didn't.
He's tying his shoes. I told him, "Hey, look, dude, I'm about to shoot you in the fucking knee. Knee. I said, you can't walk." And then he just bent down and pow.
Providence.
Pow.
Providence.
And just pow. Right in the kisser.
Providence spoke to me.
After his discharge from the Army in August of 1865, Corbett went back to work as a milliner in Boston.
Damn. Right back to it, huh?
Frequently attended the Broomfield Street Church. When the hatting business in Boston slowed, Corbett moved to Danbury, Connecticut to continue his work and also preached in the country roundabout.
Oh, wow. Okay.
By 1870, he had relocated once again to Camden, New Jersey, where he was known as a Methodist lay preacher, which I'm not entirely sure what that is.
Okay.
I mean, we can speculate. I feel like
Yeah,
there's
we
a
can
few,
speculate.
Yeah, there's a few ideas that come up.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Grant?
The same crazy ass bullshit he's been doing his whole life, or the
Methodist
second
lay
half of
preacher.
his
So
life.
at this point, I'm kind of thinking like, okay, everybody is just like, okay, dude, we get it. And then the other side of me is going, hey, man, you got some more of that mercury?
Fiending.
Still tweaking off that hat mixture.
Doing the mercury.
Yeah, I need that. It's hallucinating his whole life off
Just
the
a
hat
little
shit.
on my finger, man.
I mean, I'm not sure what a lay preacher. I'm sure it probably means something to do with like layman, something like
layman
that.
shit.
But this is around the period where people are talking about like hysteria.
No,
and that
lay
kind of
preacher
thing.
means priest,
Okay, never mind.
right? I'm just making that up because lay.
I get it. Yeah. Sex.
That's what. Yeah, that's where I was getting. Yeah, we're just sitting there dealing with it, cutting all of this.
I'm
Go
pretty
on.
sure what it means is like, instead of him being in the robes in an actual Methodist church, he's just some crazy asshole screaming from a sidewalk about roughly what Methodists believe.
We're all gonna die.
I think that's what it was.
I thought Methodists were like the cool, easy-going ones. And
They are now.
They are now. Okay, understood.
They used to. I think they used to be really. pretty
Everyone's
strict.
had their turning point.
Yeah.
Understood. Understood. We all changed.
Except for, and we'll leave that there.
We're all entitled to our redemption.
Right. Oh, by the way, while he's a lay preacher, he was still continuing to be a milliner, by the way. But Corbett's inability to hold a job was attributed to his fanatical behavior. He was routinely fired after continuing his habit of stopping work to pray for his coworkers. In an effort to earn money, Corbett capitalized on his role as Lincoln's Avenger.
Did anybody ever ask him if he liked wine? I mean, that's general consensus on like, yeah, had about 14 jobs in a month.
Right.
Something else going on? Is that what you're insinuating?
Yeah.
I think it's just because he's
Hey, like his wife
batshit.
Well, he's also tweaking off the fucking hat shit.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jesus like wine.
Yeah.
Right.
Amen.
So
That's
maybe
while
he
there's
swore
13
off-
dudes going, hey, Jesus pond,
Yeah.
you know?
Jesus, you should lay off. Okay. Like
It's not 12
like the habit's
disciples.
gotten bad enough that you're
They
having
don't
to make
mention
your
the
own
13th
now.
one because he drowned. But yeah.
Anyway. Oh man, that's good. That's good shit. That's good shit.
So Corbett began to give lectures about the shooting of Booth, accompanied by illustrated lantern slides at Sunday schools, women's groups, and tent meetings.
Holy shit.
Corbett was never asked back to any of these
Lay
due
preacher.
to his increasingly erratic behavior and incoherent speeches.
Yeah, he
so
was
he'd go
tweaking,
to a
bro.
Sunday school,
He was tweaking.
rib rabble like a son of a bitch,
Yeah.
and then they'd be like, please never come back. Then he'd go to a tent meeting and be like, please never come back.
Thank you so much. Don't come back.
I'm sorry, sir. You are not only scaring the children, but everyone.
Yeah, I just love the idea of like, especially like a women's meeting group. It's like, today we have a really special guest planned. I'm so excited to announce the man that avenged Lincoln's death,
The joy and then like the
Boston
dismay.
Corbett. And it just comes shuffling in, all long beard and hair. It's like, yeah, well, you know, I did it and I shot him. And glory to God! And then they were trying to get
We're
you on
all
crack.
gonna die.
Oh my god.
Thank you so much for coming, Mr. Corbett. It was a great presentation.
Glory, glory, hallelujah.
Just don't come back ever.
Glory,
Please.
glory, praise to God.
Bruh, the strong eye contact across the congregation, like this motherfucker, brother. Oh,
Yeah, everybody's sharing
is this
glances.
The guy?
Yeah.
Is
Well,
this
there's
the guy?
that like moment of realization. Like everybody's excited at the beginning, and at some point it's like,
Oh, this motherfucker's crazy.
Oh, we fucked up.
We feel unsafe now. You know?
and there's that
He
one
knows
person
where I
that
live
booked-
now.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
that one person that fucking booked Corbett, and everybody, all the eyes. It's like it's like being at a concert with
Hey.
feedback. Everybody's
Yeah.
looking at the fucking sound
Like,
engineer. And all of it's like, you did this.
What we doing?
Why didn't
What are
I
we doing?
CC this email?
Man. Woof. I'd love to hear some of those stories.
Oh, Jesus.
So a man, R.B. Hoover, a man who later befriended Corbett, recalled that Corbett believed men who were high in authority at Washington at the time of the assassination were hounding him. Corbett said the men were angry because he had deprived them of prosecuting and executing John Wilkes Booth themselves. He also believed the same men had gotten him fired from all these jobs. Corbett's paranoia was furthered by hate mail he received for killing Booth. He became fearful that Booth's Avengers, or organizations like the Secret Order, were planning to seek revenge upon him and took to carrying a pistol with him at all times. As his paranoia increased, Corbett began brandishing his pistol at friends or strangers he deemed suspicious. So, same guy, just
motherfucker
add a
nuts.
pistol that he starts waving around all the time.
Yeah.
While attending the soldiers' reunion of the Blue and Gray in Caldwell, Ohio in 1875, Corbett got into an argument with several men over the death of John Wilkes Booth. The men questioned if Booth had really been killed at all, which enraged Corbett. He then drew his pistol on the men, but was removed from the reunion before he could fire it. In 1878...
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, I know. In 1878, Corbett moved to Concordia, Kansas, where he acquired a plot of land through homesteading, upon which he constructed a dugout home. So it's a hobbit hole. He continued working as a
Fucking hobbits.
Pretty much.
You know, everybody out there, you know what we're talking about. Fucking hobbits. You know, they're taking over.
Dugout home.
This
Yeah,
motherfucker
baseball. Yeah.
tweaking across the country and just digs a fucking hobbit hole.
Yeah,
Fucking.
He
waiting for
continued
Gandalf
working as a
looking at.
preacher and attended revival meetings frequently. At this point, I'm assuming he's just dirty as all hell.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
to add to it.
Yeah.
Due to his fame as Lincoln's Avenger, Corbett was appointed assistant doorkeeper to the Kansas House of Representatives in Topeka on January of 1887. On February 15th, he became convinced that officers of the House were discriminating against him. He jumped to his feet, brandished a revolver, and began chasing the officers out of the building. He's the door guy.
That's fucking wild,
like-
bro.
Like,
You're supposed to protect us, my boy. Like, what's going on?
God.
No one was hurt, and Corbett was arrested. The following day, a judge declared Corbett insane. Fucking finally.
I was about to say.
And
Jesus.
sent him to the Topeka Asylum for the Insane.
oh,
On
and
May-
that was around the good times of like really, really healthy mental health like procedures and stuff too.
Oh,
Yeah.
They wasn't torturing anybody back then.
No,
it was all good medicine.
It was a really,
Gardens.
clean, safe place to be.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, all that got resolved in 1980. Yeah, never. Sorry.
No, it did.
Oh, wait, I'm off by 100 years.
Yeah, horror stories ensue. Anyway,
On May 26th of 1888, he escaped from the asylum on horseback. He then rode to Neodesha, Kansas,
Escape.
where he briefly stayed with Richard Thatcher, a man that he
Damn.
met while they were prisoners of war.
oh, Dick Thaddy.
When
That got that fatty dick.
When Corbett left, he told Thatcher he was going to Mexico. Rather than going to Mexico, Corbett is believed to have settled in a cabin he built in the forests near Hinckley in Pine County, eastern Minnesota. He's believed to have died in the Great Hinckley Fire on September 1st of 1894. Although there is no proof, the name Thomas Corbett appears on the list of dead and missing. So for all we know, Boston Corbett's somewhere to this day.
Old Tommy C, about 300. That boy, he was a vampire that
Anytime
Lincoln
you
couldn't
see
kill.
a crazy
There you
son of a
go.
bitch on the street screaming "Glory to God," maybe it's old Boston. Who knows?
Could be. He is the vampire that lurks in the
His
night.
spirit lives on.
Yes, it does.
Wait,
Actually.
he's got to be a daywalker now, I guess.
We see how strongly his spirit lives on in this fucking country. You're absolutely right.
He had influence. He had influence.
Changed everything.
I
man.
mean, my speculation would be that he lives on Mercury.
yeah.
I see what you did there. I see what you did. It's good.
It's
Like the planet, but the element that made him go crazy.
Right, right. Because he's a milliner. He's a mad milliner.
Planet.
Mad Milliner.
Mad milliner.
That never caught.
It didn't. Yeah, Mad Hatter had a little bit. Like,
Yeah, it hits a
better
little
word.
harder.
Yeah, so Mad Milliner.
That's a crazy ass story, though, man. American history is always pretty wild.
I love me some American history.
Fucking whoa, bro. All about violence and Jesus and lazy rich assholes, pretty much.
That's
Yeah,
the common
that's
theme
America.
throughout history. Yeah,
That's kind of what we do over here.
Hey!
the human condition.
That's kind of what we do, you know. And it's funny to me that like some people in different countries like don't ever see guns in real life, and we're just like
Their cops don't even
used
have
to
guns.
the shit.
Yeah, I know.
We're just used to
I've literally
that
been
level of
shooting
violence.
guns since I was old enough to hold one.
Yeah, we're used to that level.
Deemed
of
by my father safely enough, which I don't know, was that
It gets
4 natural ices in, you know? Who knows?
Yeah.
Like,
violence. I just watch a show on Recoil. Oh, he got it. Cool.
Yeah, you good.
We're gonna buy him one next week.
That's a 12 gauge. I don't care. He's 6 years old and skinnier than the bean.
Jump on that tractor.
I had my fucking, was a 410, I think, rifle, because it was a short stock.
Little
So
shoddy.
I was old enough to hold it. But I swear to God, that thing would knock me straight to my ass. And they'd be like, you'll get it next time. It's like, but my shoulder hurts. And I'm scared. It's like, try it again. Okay.
Okay, that's where we at. Do it again.
I got pretty good at that thing, though, to be fair.
But
It's like
wild story.
like a situation of when I was on tour in the UK, and you know the only probably band from Alabama that was their first thing ever doing was going on a tour in the UK.
Yeah.
And we're just like, what is this shit over here, man? You ain't even got no hot sauce for this fish. What the fuck is going on? This motherfucker's chasing. Y'all see this? He's chasing me with a stick. Are you a Bobby? What the fuck? Ain't that a haircut, motherfucker?
Oh my god! I'm not Bobby. You ain't looking for Bobby. I ain't Bobby.
Oh, natural gas. Whoa, what the fuck's wrong with him?
It's so gassy.
Fucking wild, man. But yeah, I didn't know all that about John Wilkes Booth or my boy Tommy C. That's a good fucking episode, man. I hope you learned
Thank
something
you.
today.
I like that.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about Booth. Didn't realize how much of a asshole he truly was.
Yeah.
I just made my assumptions like, oh yeah, the guy that killed Lincoln, he sucks.
Yeah,
But-
of course. Obviously a racist asshole.
And I love so much the man that killed him.
Tommy C.
Yes,
There's a lot of things, man.
dude. I would watch the fuck out of that movie.
Yeah, it needs to be a movie.
This is a little aside, but it's on the same level ground. I watched a documentary a couple of years ago talking about Mary Todd being involved with John Wilkes Booth in the planning of.
I wouldn't be that surprised, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was either her or her cousin or something like that was like super integral in that documentary that I watched.
They were just pissed off. I mean, because
Well, they did come from old money. So at the time, American old money was almost entirely built on slavery, you know, so.
and she was jealous of his beau.
Yeah.
That's true, too.
Yeah, Lincoln.
Yeah.
Lincoln and Todd, not a happy couple.
Oh no.
No.
They're in it for the kid at that point.
He had
Kids.
he found love elsewhere.
I think so.
Yeah,
I do.
Anne Rice.
Oh yeah.
that was not his name.
That's what I say. That's what I say. My boy was doing a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was living his best life.
I consider Lincoln to be fluid, but, you know, who knows?
Yeah. I mean, he said, labeled the tallest man in America at one point, right?
Yeah. He loved who he loved.
Yeah.
And he loved him back.
It's about hearts, not
And
parts,
he
baby.
loved him back.
Hearts, not parts.
Hearts not parts.
Not parts.
I just wonder if he's still out there, man. The vampire had to get him at least once, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe that's
Could
what
be
turned him
lurking
gay.
somewhere.
Vampire.
I said Anne
Maybe-
Rice.
Maybe the vampire
right.
turned him
That's
gay.
why I. Oh, okay.
That was too deep of a cut. Okay, that went over our heads.
Oh.
You got to bring it back down for us.
All
Us
right.
Cretans.
Well,
For us Cretans. Anyway.
and that's a wrap. Hey, I'm Justin Evans, and I'm saying love, live life because it's worth living, y'all.
And I'm Drew Shellnut, and I'm saying, bite somebody.
Nice. Grant Bramlett here. To John Wilkes Booth, I never liked you. And that's pretty easy to say. Like, whole life. Nothing about him I liked. But to Boston Corbett, it's complicated. But, I guess I could say I love you. I don't know about always. It's complicated. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's
Nice.
feel that.
I dig it because that's the first ever of that sign off. So I dig it.
I feel that. And I'm Julie Francis, and I'm saying bye.
Bye bye. Boom.
Thanks for listening and stay tuned for the next installment. Find us on Facebook and Instagram to stay up to date on all things friends, facts, and fiction. Our Instagram handle is friends_facts_fiction. As always, please reach out to us. You can send any of your questions, praise, and fact-checking to friends_facts_fiction@gmail.com. It's important to us to only propagate the truth, and we'll correct any errors we may have made. Your hosts and researchers are Justin Hammonds, Grant Bramlett, and Drew Shellnut. Our episodes are produced by Grant Bramlett. Additional producership provided by Grace Higgs. Our recording engineer is Grant Bramlett. Lighting design is provided by Justin Hammonds. This has been a production of Friends, Facts, and Fiction.
Mine was a mom sandwich.
Was a gas station Passat.
I had fish tacos. in a margarita.
I heard.
Beautiful.
I love how it was like, Julie's been drinking.
We just don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be fun.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all good.